Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group, SBA turns to Palantir after Minnesota fraud allegations spark a national probe. And OPM's federal workforce data site just got a major overhaul. It's Monday, January 12th, 2026. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. And now let's dive into the day's top headlines. The Small Business Administration is enlisting Palantir's help in its nationwide probe of suspected loan fraud as years-long fraud allegations in Minnesota draw national attention. According to federal spending records, the SBA signed a $300,000 contract with the data analytics and software giant last week. The contract's description read SBA Fraud Prevention Pilot and Bootcamp and has a projected end date of April 4th. The contract, signed through the General Services Administration's multiple award schedule, was made public just days after SBA Secretary Kelly Loeffler announced that the agency had suspended 6,900 Minnesota borrowers for alleged fraud following its review of thousands of pandemic-era loans administered to the state. Loeffler said the borrowers were approved for 7,900 Paycheck Protection Program and economic injury disaster loans totaling about $400 million. When asked about the Palantir contract, SBA spokesperson Maggie Clemens pointed to the agency's Minnesota probe, writing, quote, "We're now expanding our investigations nationwide as part of a broader zero-tolerance policy on fraud," unquote. Clemens went on to add that the agency has multiple audits underway and that it's going to work with law enforcement moving forward to hold any fraudsters accountable. SBA did not confirm whether other companies are involved in the effort, and Palantir didn't respond to a request for comment. The technology company, which currently performs various data and software-based tasks for numerous federal agencies, offers fraud detection as part of its Foundry platform. According to its website, the platform consolidates disparate information assets to produce a unified data landscape. It also includes a Foundry case manager that tracks investigation steps and automatically sorts alerts by risk level. The fraud allegations in Minnesota resurfaced late last month after right-wing influencer Nick Shirley posted a video on YouTube about alleged fraud schemes at child care programs in Minnesota. That video quickly went viral, prompting the Trump administration to freeze child care funds to the state and call for an audit into some daycares. Now moving on to other news, the Office of Personnel Management launched a new workforce data website last week, replacing an antiquated interface and aiming to bring more transparency to federal employment figures. OPM officially announced the new federal workforce data site last Thursday with data up to November for most categories. That site includes accessible statistics of interest, such as a reduction of 220,000 workers under President Donald Trump, as well as multiple interactive charts that users can filter by agency, time frame, or other factors. In a written statement, OPM Director Scott Cooper called the website, quote, "a major step forward for accountability and data-driven decision-making across government," unquote. While federal workforce data has long been made publicly available online, the old interface, FedScope, was cumbersome and offered data updates on a quarterly basis that lagged by months. In addition to a more modern interface, the new website adds datasets for payroll and recruitment and promises updates on a faster monthly interval. Per a note on the website, FedScope will no longer be available as of January 28th. Despite controversy over the Trump administration's efforts to shrink the workforce, publication of the website was immediately well received by federal data users and advocates. In comments to FedScoop, several sources both applauded the new website and noted that interest in improving the publication of federal workforce data began long before the current administration. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, make sure to visit fedscoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, as always, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.